This just told us a lot about the Edmonton Oilers' future as a particular contract extension was brought up in conversation. All that and more today on Oilers Digest. But first, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so. We are 9 away from 2,300 subscribers, and we are on the road to 2,500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button to get any and all Oiler news from Oilers Digest. But folks, without further ado, Money talks. Yes, the Athletic sat down with Connor McDavid, sort of asking him about a future contract extension with the Edmonton Oilers, and he had this to say. He was very brief about his answer. He said, "I want to win. That's it. That's all that matters to me at this point in my career. My priority is to win. My priority is to take care of my family. Those are the two things that I worry about. Those are my two obligations." You can see they're very clear and to the point with Connor McDavid. And he was even asked about, the Leon Draisaitl contract extension. Does that mean Connor McDavid will stay in Edmonton just because Leon Draisaitl signed an 8-year contract extension? And Jeff Jackson, he had this to say. He said they're buddies. Everyone ties them at the hip, and that's the logical thing for everyone to do. But he's his own man. He'll make his own decision. I think we have a team that he thinks is going to compete. He'll be fine. And yes, that's pretty much the assumption everyone came to conclusions with at the end of the summer when Leon Draisaitl did sign his 8-year extension. That just because he signed means that Connor McDavid will sign. I mean, I'm 95% sure that McDavid will sign a contract, but I mean, crazier things have happened. And of course, Draisaitl opted for that long-term security, but other high-profile stars have opted for shorter terms in recent years. Adam Fox is on a 7-year contract. Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, and Mitch Marner are amid 6-year contracts, and Kirill Kaprizov is midway through a 5-year length. Shorter contracts are more commonplace in the NBA as players have the flexibility to keep going back to the open market, and that all seems to boil down to if Connor McDavid is going to do like a 5-year contract, 6-year, 7-year, or if he's going to do the full 8-year contract. For the Oilers organization, their best bet would be to get him for a full 8-year contract. Sort of cement him as one of the best Oilers of all time, if not the best Oiler of all time. I know some of you in the comments will heavily disagree with that, but it all boils down to how this season goes for Connor McDavid, and really there's no other situation in the NHL that would make him an immediate Stanley Cup contender. I know that's a stupid thing to say, but the Oilers are the best situation for him. Other teams just don't exactly have the necessary pieces, especially if you bring McDavid in on a higher contract. Well, you can't necessarily build the strongest team around that. But with Edmonton, they managed to kind of make it work this season and in years prior, especially if you compare him to a guy like Austin Matthews, of course. After his 3-year entry-level contract, he had a 5-year deal, and he's in the first year of a 4-year deal. So his ability to keep going back to the open market, that's what he likes to do. And some players don't really like doing that. They like to do the 8-year, the long-term secure. That's what it really boils down to for some players' mindsets. And with the signing of Leon Draisaitl, the Edmonton Oilers have taken the first step of the organization's reported 16-14-10 plan. This was reported back in the summer, of course, 16 being McDavid, 14 being Draisaitl, and 10 being Evan Bouchard. I know some of you in the comments thinking $10 million for Bouchard, that's an overpay, but you got to take advantage of that while you can, because he won't be this I don't want to say mediocre, but he won't be that bad for long, even though I don't think he's bad at all. And lastly, here from Jeff Jackson to conclude this, we're just leaving it because we're not talking contract right now with the relationship that we have and the relationship I have with Agent Judd Moldover, who is McDavid's agent and also Austin Matthews' agent. There's an understanding that we'll get to discussions when it's appropriate. Right now, we're focused on where we are in the season. It's too early for that. I'm confident we're going to keep Connor here for a long time, but that's his decision in the end. And of course, when I saw the article saying contract talks in early December, that's quite ludicrous. Of course, McDavid is a team first kind of guy. He's not focused on the money. He's focused on getting the Edmonton Oilers to the top of the mountain with the Stanley Cup. But folks, let's take a global look at the Edmonton Oilers and specifically the Edmonton Oilers prospects. 3 Oilers prospects were named to their respective countries' preliminary rosters for the upcoming World Juniors in Ottawa. And the first one here is Bo Akey of the Barrie Colts. There you can see 16 points in 22 games. Of course, his season last year was hampered by injury, but The Oilers congratulated Bo Akey of the Barrie Colts on making Hockey Canada's selection camp. Of course, he was in the shadow of Brant Clark for a very long time, but he is running that team now, and it's good to see him get an invite to Team Canada's roster. Of course, there were a lot of questions regarding Team Canada's roster selection, but that is another conversation for another day. And another name for the Edmonton Oilers, you can see there at the bottom of the roster sheet, Paul Fisher, who they acquired from the St. Louis Blues. He was named to USA Hockey's preliminary roster for the World Juniors, and of course, Canada and the USA will meet on New Year's Eve, so it should be a very good one. It always is. It's always a good game on New Year's Eve or any other day when the Americans do face off against Team Canada, and you can see there with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish of the Big Ten Conference in the NCAA, 9 assists for 9 points in 16 games. Of course, you can sort of ignore that minus 7 there, but Paul Fisher, he's been noted on his reliability no matter where he plays in the lineup. And lastly here, Finnish goaltender Emil Vinny, yes, a 2.02 and a 905 in 6 games for HIFK in the under-20 league in Finland, and he's projected to be Finland's starter in Ottawa on December 26th when they do take on Canada in their first game on Boxing Day. So, again, should be a very exciting tournament. It's not too often we get an Oiler on Team Canada or an Oiler prospect on Team Canada, but we'll have to wait to see if all three do make their respective teams. These are only the preliminary roster invites so far, but all three, they should make it. But lastly here, Viva Las Vegas. Yes, the Oilers do head into Las Vegas, Nevada tonight to take on the Vegas Golden Knights in the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena. You can see there, 9 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Mountain. Bit of a later one tonight, being on a weeknight, but again, nonetheless, should be a good one. And just looking here at the practice lines from yesterday's practice in Vegas from Bob Stauffer, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, and Kasperi Kapanen, Vasily Podkolzin, Leon Draisaitl, in Connor Brown, and Jeff Skinner, Adam Henrique, and Matthias Janmark. And then lastly here, Drake Caggiula, Derek Ryan, and Corey Perry. And Zach Hyman was an extra forward. His status for tonight is still up in the air. And Kris Knoblauch was unable to commit to one answer or the other. So it'll be probably close to a game time decision for Zach Hyman. If he is in the lineup, I expect to see him next to McDavid on the top line, of course, and that sort of bumps everybody down. But it'd be interesting to see a Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Kapanen line. And on the defensive side of things, Mattias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse and Troy Stetcher, and Brett Kulak and Ty Emberson, with Travis Dermott being the extra defenseman. And Stuart Skinner gets the start in goal tonight. And you can see there, Vasily Podkolzin, he is ready to rumble. On the ice 25 minutes before practice begins. Teammates love the fact that he's normally the first one on the ice and normally one of the last ones off the ice, and that's exactly the kind of workhorse the Oilers have needed so far. And they've been getting a workhorse in net with Stuart Skinner. His last 4 starts, 3-1 with a .915 save percentage and a 2.53 goals against average, and he continues to play stellar. Of course, he had that phenomenal game against the Colorado Avalanche, and hopefully it continues tonight. But just looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, yes, looking into the opposition, they are top of the Pacific Division, only ahead of the Oilers by a few points there, but they've been struggling at home as of late. They've only won 3 out of their last 4 at the Fortress, so the Oilers hoping to take advantage of that. And just looking at their lineup quickly, Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, Pavel Dorofeyev, Tomas Hertl, Nicholas Waugh, Keegan Kolesar, Brett Howden, William Karlsson, Victor Olofsson, and Tanner Pearson, Cole Schwindt, and Alexander Holtz. And on the back end, Noah Hannafin, Alex Pietrangelo, Braden McNabb, Shea Theodore, Nicholas Hague, and Caden Korzak. And Ilya Samsonov gets the start in net tonight, so the Oilers don't have to see the Grim Reaper, Aiden Hill, tonight. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the McDavid contract talks, of course. He's never been one to talk about the contract in the middle of the season, or even Leon Draisaitl last year. He's focused on the play. And are you excited for any of the 3 Oiler prospects at the World Juniors? And are you excited for tonight's game? I sure am. It's always a good one against the Vegas Golden Knights, no matter if it's in the regular season or in the playoffs. Again, hit that subscribe button for any and all Oiler content. And again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have yourselves a fantastic day and enjoy the game tonight. Folks, let's go Oilers.